we tell the story of that person who's seeking asylum in the United States, starting in January of this year, instead of being able to turn themselves into Border Patrol, or come up to a port of entry. I mean, there were restrictions at the time, but just like as a normal process, that's how it used to work. Now, migrants have to download an app onto their smartphone called CBP1, that is the app, and they have to fill out all this paperwork. They have to do a facial recognition kind of thing, using the smartphone, to even get a chance to have an appointment, to go through asylum processing in the United States. And what's really problematic about that is, I mean, I sort of commend the agency for trying to find ways to use technology to make things more efficient. But on the other hand, they've also created all kinds of digital barriers to access to asylum. If you don't have a smartphone, or you don't have cell phone connection, data connection, or you don't have Wi-Fi, or if you're not tech savvy, if you can't afford a smartphone, all of these things add all of these barriers to populations that are already marginalized. And then, so that's the first app. And then once people come into the United States, many of them are now being monitored using their smartphone on an app called SmartLink, that ICE uses, Immigration Customs Enforcement uses. And again, they have to use their own smartphone. There's also some government smartphones that they hand out, but the government really likes migrants to get their own smartphone and facial matching, facial recognition approach. They get messages all the time. So it's basically, to make a long story short, we used to think about the border as just this line between US and Mexico. But for migrants, they're not so much experiencing the border as part of the landscape. They're experiencing the border as part of their cell phone, as part of their smartphone. They're experiencing that
So
aspect of.
ICE is doing tracking on it too, like by seeing the location stuff.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Using location, as well as the
Yeah,
facial match.